Have you ever heard of Rape Festival? Now I want you to imagine this. You are a young woman, a student. You are living in a town that is not your own, studying, building your future. It is an ordinary evening. You step outside and then men come for you. I mean strong men, not women, many of them. They chase you through the streets. They grab you, they tear at your clothes, they do things to your body that I will not describe in detail, because the women who survived this do not need the details repeated, and the men who did it do not deserve the attention or the publicity. This is not a story from a war zone. This is not a story from a conflict region with no law, no government, no accountability. This is Nigeria. This is Delta State. It happened in March 19th, and then the men who did this said we are doing it because of tradition. That is what we are here to talk about today. The place is called Ozoro. It sits in Isoko North local government area of Delta State in Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta. It is a town with schools, with students, with families, with a king, with a police station. It is a town that presents itself to the world as any other town. But in Ozoro, there is a festival. It is called the Alue-Do festival, commonly known Rape Festival. Community leaders describe it as a fertility ritual, a celebration to honor a deity, to pray for children, for prosperity, for new beginning. They say it is over 100 years old. They say it was always been part of who they are, and they say that during the festival, women are not supposed to be outside, not supposed to be outside in their own town on an ordinary evening, because if a woman is found outside during the festival, men have, and I'm going to use the word that was used to describe this, free reign to do what they want to that particular woman. That is the tradition. That is the 100-year-old practice that was defended, that was explained, that was offered to public as a context, as if context makes it acceptable, as if a century of doing something wrong makes it right. It does not, and it will never make it right. On the 9th of March 19, 2026, the videos started appearing online, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Women being chased through the streets of Ozoro by groups of men, women being grabbed, women being stripped, women screaming, women running and being caught, and men laughing, moving in parks, treating this as entertainment, treating this as celebration, treating the bodies of women as something that belongs to them because a deity said so. Man, Nigeria need to take care of this. The hashtag Stop Raping Women spread across X, formerly Twitter, within hours. Nollywood actresses, lawyers, pastors, senators, ordinary Nigerians, mothers and fathers who watched those videos and could not believe what they were seeing, all of them demanding same thing: arrest them, prosecute them, end this now. The Nigerian Bar Association called what happened gender-based violence in its most primitive and shameful form. They said this was not a festival, this was lawlessness, and indeed it was lawlessness. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu described it as a barbaric and degrading. ActionAid Nigeria demanded immediate medical care, psychological support, and legal assistance for every woman and girl who was targeted that particular night. And the Delta State Police Command, which initially struggled to even call it what it was, eventually arrested 16 suspects, including the community head who organized the festival and the chief priest who sanctioned it. The case was transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department. The Alue-Do festival was banned, but for the women who were there that night, none of them comes soon enough. None of that comes soon enough. Now, I have to be very honest with you about something, because good journalism requires honesty even when it is uncomfortable. Yes, the police, after intervening, 4 of the girls affected stated that none of them formally reported rape to the authorities. The police spokesperson said as of the time of that statement, not one official rape reported had been filed. Community leaders in Ozoro pushed back against the word rape entirely, They said the festival was hijacked by hoolidoms who took advantage of the gathering. They said the tradition itself was never intended to harm women, only to keep them indoors out of the way of the ritual. They said what happened was a distortion of something sacred. One community member said in past years, men would simply pour sand on women found outside to chase them back in. This year, something went further. I am telling you this not to defend what happened. I am only telling you this because a documentary that only tells you what you already believe is not journalism, it's performance. But here is what is beyond disputes, beyond police statements, beyond community explanation, beyond any discussion of what the tradition originally intended. The videos exist. Yes. They do exist. The women running exist. The fear on their faces exists. The hands that grab them and the men who laugh exist. And a tradition that tells women they cannot step outside their own homes under any circumstances for any reason in the name of any deity is a tradition that has already failed every woman it touches before a single person lays a hand on her. The moment a community decides that women must disappear so that men can celebrate, that is where this story begins. Everything that happens on March 19 is where it ends. There is a question that Nigeria is now being forced to answer, and it is not a comfortable one. How many other festivals like this exist? Not identical, not necessarily this violent, but built on the same assumption that there are times and places and occasions where women must make themselves invisible so that male tradition can take up all the space. Female genital mutilation was defended as tradition. Child marriage was defended as a tradition. Widow isolation, the practice of forcing grieving women to sit in confinement, unwashed, unclothed, and proof of mourning was defended as tradition. These practices have been fought, challenged, and in many cases outlawed, but they have not disappeared. They survive in the gaps between the law and enforcement, between the city and village, and what actually happens in communities where cameras rarely go.